Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our podcast. It is your host, Stefie.
And Julia, who's less shaming me today, guys. More soon.
Together, we're for now still derps and burps before Steffi's gonna leave me because I just complimented her. Guys, episode 82. We're starting off hot. Okay, so Steffi, in case you can't tell or cannot tell, I just complimented her that she looks really good without her fake lashes. I think she talked about it on the podcast.
It's like a guy telling a woman, you don't need makeup. You look pretty without it.
It's not the
I
same.
miss them, guys. Okay, I miss them.
Okay, we have to talk about it. Now that we started about it, we need to talk about it. So basically, Steffi had fake lashes for the last, 2 years? Something like that? Like lash extensions that she gets glued on her eyes. Which I have to say, in the beginning when she got them, they were really nice. They were like decent. They were like cute and like a little bit sprinkled on extra. But the longer she got, it's like with the people that go to like
Solarium.
the solarium, or like they tan and they
Bleach
get darker and
their hair.
darker, they bleach the teeth, hair, whatever it is. It gets extremer and extremer. In the beginning, it was cute. But I think it was the last time I saw you. Was it like a birthday, Verena's birthday or something like that? Steffi got her lashes done for the last time, and she looked like those, those ladies in like, I don't want to be rude, like in the supermarket or when you go to the disco, they just have like the full-on black like umbrella thing over their eyes, which looks super fake. So the thing is, I admit it.
You mean the Russian style? It's called like that. There's Russian style, which is like 14D or something like that.
Okay, so it just looks like you have like a fucking black eyeliner, but it's actually windshields, exactly. You could fly away, like if you blink too much, you're flying away. So anyway, in the beginning it was really cute, but then she started doing more, and I admit, on camera, on pictures, on stream and everything, it looked really good. But in real life, if you saw stuff, it looked really funny. I'm gonna be honest. It looked like she would fly away with her lashes. No, but I understand it that you yourself don't see it that way. And today she has her natural lashes again, right? So she's still a little bit sensitive about it. But it looks really. You have like 3 fake lashes still in there, Steffi.
I know, they won't they won't go off. I don't know. They won't just like fall off.
Yeah, but
so annoying.
I saw like the 3 things sticking out like there. No, but anyway,
I know.
So I just wanted to compliment her because I see her real eyes without like the plastic like thingies for the first time in so long. And I thought it looks really good, right? She has really beautiful blue eyes, and I want to compliment it because I noticed, and I think it looks really good on her. And she got pissed because she thought I didn't mean it, or whatever, or she just. No, but I think it's really good, guys. Can you please tell Steffi in the comments that she looks good without her lash extensions?
I appreciate your opinion on this. Your good friend opinion in real life, but you're wrong, and I'm sorry that you see it that way. But I know, like in real life, even if I like when I woke up, and I have to be like, to be fair, the last time I did it, she just put it all on. Like she just knew she's gone, so she just blasted all the lashes off.
She needs to get rid of them before she goes in her maternity leave, right? Oh, I got so many left. You get like double the lashes.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was like, okay, that's a bit much, but it's good because it takes longer to fall out, But I know, like in real life, it's just fleshy windshields.
Yeah. But I get it. Like on pictures, it's nice, and I get the convenience that when you get up, you don't have to like put mascara on. You don't have to put any makeup. You look like you're put together already. So I understand the point of having them. Maybe you want to give also some feedback to some listeners that are maybe thinking about getting lash extensions. Steffi, what is your pro and con of having them, and how is it for you now that you have removed them? Do you feel like there's some damage to your actual natural lashes? You feel you have less, you have thinner, shorter? Do you feel it's the same?
The biggest, I would say the biggest pro con is like you need to find someone that you can work with very well, because most of the people, first of all, most of the stores are super expensive. Like after she told me she's she's pregnant and she's leaving, I was looking and doing some research in my area, like what else we have here, who offers that, and there's a lot of beauties like what's it called, beauty store, beauty salon, beauty salons, salon,
beauties. Yeah, I know what you mean.
beauty,
Like ladies that
beauty
do
salons,
lashes. Yeah,
lash ladies, and
lash
it's
ladies.
so
Yeah,
freaking
yeah, yeah.
expensive. Especially the first treatment is so, like the first time you go there is so freaking expensive with most of them, which is not um what's it called? Fuck the
For
word.
what do you want to
I
say
don't even know
in
I
German?
don't even know the German word.
It's not worth
It's
it,
just not
or
worth it. It's
yeah,
just not
yeah.
worth it. Like it's super expensive. So
It's
what
like
I was looking for is
$150 or something like that, right? For the
the
first
first one,
time.
yeah, and it's so fucking much. And I know from my lash lady how kind of like it works for her and how she gets the lashes, and they all get it from the same like
Mm, mm,
retailer or whatever it is. So it's super expensive. So make sure you find someone that is price wise fair
mhm.
and does a good job, because some of the people just like they can fall out pretty fast, etc., etc. Usually they last for 3 to 4 weeks, and then you refresh them again. So the most convenient part was, as you said, when you wake up in the morning, you already feel fresh, you look fresh. Obviously, you have to change a few of your makeup routines, because you're not allowed to use oil stuff, like makeup that has oil in it, because that makes them fall out faster and stuff like that. So and you don't need mascara. And in the beginning, it was very like weird to get like used to it, to not put any mascara on it. But at some point, you just like get used to it. And also, you're not allowed, or you shouldn't like just rub your eyes, which you will stop if you have lashes, because they're not itchy anymore. That's a very funny thing. Like my eyes weren't itchy at all anymore, or I didn't have to like rub them anymore ever since I had the lashes. Super weird. And now I'm like again starting to rub them.
Mm,
Um, when it comes to the damage, my lashes didn't get less, but they're shorter now.
mhm.
So you see that they have to grow back. But the fact that I didn't put any mascara on for 2 years was also a good thing for them, I'd say.
I mean,
And you
instead you
lose,
had glue on them, right?
yeah, but you lose lashes every day anyways. And
Yeah, yeah, of
I have
course.
to say, I didn't lose more lashes than before. Like,
Mhm.
and I saw it even, right? Because when I lost a lash, it was with the extension. So you saw it like in the sink or wherever. So I didn't lose more than I lost before, but they are shorter now. So they need to recover a little bit, at
Mhm.
least in length. Volume is totally fine. And you also, I don't know if you guys know, but you are basically you it's basically like dogs shed their fur in summer and in winter. When they
Mhm.
get their winter fur or like summer fur, you are doing this with your lashes as well. So I think it's in spring when like all the new lashes are coming out. And my lash lady always told me like, oh yeah, you're getting all your new lashes, like there's so many new lashes now.
Mm.
So I have a lot still, they're just short. And yeah, depends on what you want. You can still put on eyeliner, it's just a bit more tricky, and there shouldn't be oil in it.
Yeah,
That's
how is it like if you
that's
want to
it.
have like the eyeliner like close to the lash line? Is it fine if the eyeliner like touches the fake
You can
lashes?
do all of that. You can put on, like I put on eyeshadow as well all the time.
Mm.
It doesn't matter as long as there is no oil in it. And there is eyeliners without oil, so
Okay.
you just like you can apply
Just have
them.
to
It's
find the
just a
right
bit
one. Okay. Okay.
tricky. Yeah, like removing them, right? You just need to take care when you remove the eyeliner in the
Mm.
evening.
Okay, okay,
But
makes sense. So
there's a lot of
overall,
things.
when your lash lady's coming back, you're gonna get them done again, or
Let's see. I'm not sure. I want to see how my lashes do now, and how long it takes for them to recover fully, because I had pretty long lashes.
mm-hmm.
I just I was lacking the volume, and that's why I did it, because I
Mm.
liked having the volume. So let's see if I go back. Also, I save quite a lot of money now because I'm
Mm.
not like doing it anymore.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, it's so
So
much money that you don't have to spend, right?
yeah, yeah, exactly. It's just something like you do your nails once a month, or
Mm.
go to the hairdresser, or whatever it is. Some things you just like to do. I'm not sure if I will go back to it. Let's see.
Okay,
Me in
you're gonna
January,
keep
February,
us.
coming back with my
You're gonna
Pull back
update us. We're
lashes.
gonna follow
Mhm,
the whole thing on
mhm.
the podcast. So what else is new, Steffi? After we have the elephant in the room addressed,
What's the elephant in the room?
your lashes. We're the elephant in the room.
Oh, but I can talk about the other things now, right?
Yeah.
I didn't
I,
get that. Sorry, Julia, that was bad.
it's okay, Steffi. It's okay.
I thought you meant something else with the elephant in the
No.
room because we
No,
have a
no.
pretty hot topic coming up as well.
Fair,
Okay.
fair. Okay,
Anyways,
sorry.
so what's new? A week was short, right? There's not much new, but there's a few things. The new Valorant Champion song for this year is just dope. Grab it again. Another banger. I love this man so much. He's so cool. He's producing so much cool music. Even the one, the stuff that is not made for Riot Games. It's just I love his music a lot. He's a very cool guy, and I'm super hyped. Like the song just made me want to play Valorant again, as always. Like Riot does that. Then
Did you
there's
cry
another
when you
thing.
watched the video? No, right? I watched your reaction. You didn't cry. What is
I
fucking
didn't cry.
wrong with you?
No.
I watched it on stream. I was fucking crying like a little
But
baby.
why were you crying?
Because it's so emotional, the video.
It was very cute.
Yeah, but
It was very
it's
cute.
emotional. I was crying
It
twice.
is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't in the emotional state there. I also have to admit, listen, it was my
You're gonna cry.
second first reaction to the video. Cause listen, I never do that
She
usually,
faked it.
but I'm just telling you now, okay? I faked it, guys. I faked an orgasm this time. Because I was recording it
I
and something
trusted you.
was scuffed with the recording. And after, like, I watched the video, I saw it, and then I was like, wow, nice. I also had the sponsors in the middle of the screen because I didn't see it. So I just completely major fucked up. So I was like, okay, let's do it over again. And then I did it, and yeah, just saying. So don't tell anybody.
Fake
No,
reaction
no, 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 no,
content.
no, no. You don't tell anybody.
Uh-huh.
You don't make a TikTok out of that.
Title
That's my
of
reputation.
of the new episode. Steffi fakes reaction content. It's all
Yeah.
staged.
I did it. Everything is staged and scripted, guys, with me. I'm sorry.
Now it's all out.
Gotta admit that I did it for the very first time. Never did that before, so very sorry for that. But I just fucked up and I didn't want to upload the scuffed file.
People never change,
So yeah.
Steffi. People never change.
Sadly, they don't. Only a few do. But beside that, Apex hype. Revenant gets reworked or got reworked together with its teammate.
That's the skeleton guy.
That's the assassin guy with the totem.
Yeah, the skeleton dude. He's a skeleton.
Yeah, yeah.
Dude, right?
He's basically a cyborg, kinda.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a super cool cinematics built around his whole story, like what's happening to him, and that he just loses his abilities and then comes up with his new abilities. Super dope, like very nice cinematics. It's 3 parts. It's called Kill Code Part 1, Part 2, and then there's the Resurrection of Revenant. I watched that yesterday. I was super hyped, so I had to play Apex again.
I saw it. You started with Overwatch and then you switched to Apex, right?
Yeah, I was like, what is the game that
how bad was Overwatch
the most today? I didn't play Overwatch. I
you
saw
didn't even try?
Apex. No, I
just saw you post.
I updated it.
Oh my god, she lied to us again, guys. Look at it.
No, I didn't. I posted another story where I said, never mind, I'm playing Apex because I saw what they did to Revenant.
Baited us in with the Overwatch and then she didn't even play it.
You fucking zoomer, pay some attention to the content I post. Or do I have to add like 50 fucking gifs to it?
Yeah.
So yeah. Super hyped for that. Apex hype. New season gonna be a lot of new things. It's not that easy to grind to masters anymore.
God damn it.
Plus, Netflix wise, I started to watch Uncanny Counter, which is a Korean show, which was a bit odd in the beginning, and I felt like the acting was very poor. But then after the first episode, I was like, okay, now I'm hooked. Like I wanna know where this is going. So let's see. Max and I are in episode 3 now, I think. And there's another show coming out which looks very interesting, which is a masked girl. It's also a Korean show, I think. And she's apparently, like what you see in the trailer, she's killing people and like live streaming with the mask. Basically, like the the beautiful women on Twitch that are just like dancing and stuff. She's doing that with the mask, and then I don't know. There's a plot twist to it, so it looks pretty interesting. Let's see, coming out soon as well. Stay tuned.
Interesting. Interesting.
What about you,
Okay.
Julia?
What about me? Nathan came back yesterday night from his boot camp in Turkey, and he brought me this beautiful necklace. Look at it.
Now I see it live. So pretty.
I'm not sure if I think it's a pearl on the inside, but
I think it's a pearl as well. Yeah.
I think so. I'm not 100% sure. So he just saw that at the airport and he was like, I'm going to bring it to you. And he was so cute. Like, he's like, I'm not going to show you what I bring you, but I'm going to show it to Miriam. He's like, I would show it to Stefie as well, but I'm not really regularly in contact with Stefie. So I just don't want to write her out of nowhere. Like, hey, what do you think? Do you think Julia would like that? So he sent a picture to Miriam. Was like, Miriam, what do you think? And he just sent me the reply from Miriam, like oh my God, 12 out of 10. She will love it.
Slay!
Yeah, exactly. Like super, super cute. So I was excited. He came home yesterday night. It was raining like crazy, and he had to drive from Slovenia with his car to Klagenfurt, which was like an hour, but he drove really slow, so it was fine. Then, so in case you don't know, we were recording this episode a little bit earlier because next week Steffi is gonna be in Carinthia, right? Or when you listen to this, she was already in Carinthia this way around. So we're pre-recording this on a Friday. So we recorded last episode on Monday and on Friday. So there's not that much that happened in between those two episodes. Just to be transparent, you know. This weekend, Nathan's parents are coming on Sunday. They're gonna stay for a week. Also, I'm super excited. So today would be my day off, and I wanted to meet a friend IRL, but then so after podcast today in the evening I went to meet a friend, but then I saw in my emails that I finally got beta access to Palia. I literally have been waiting to play Palia for a year, and I'm super, super excited. And I saw I got the access, and I just wrote my friend, I'm like, I'm very sorry to do this to you, but I got access. I'm gonna stream this today. So yeah, really, really excited for this.
Nice.
Then I started doing TikTok again. I kind of try to go into it. I'm currently trying to like, I was a little bit in a rut a week ago where I just got into a circle where I couldn't like catch up with, you know, doing all the stuff for the different platforms. So what I did now is I made a content plan again, so I'm a little bit more structured towards the week when I create what type of content. And I also want to just create more TikToks or reels, like short how do you say it?
Video content.
Short video content, exactly.
I need to do that too.
Yeah, so it's just so much fun to do it when you do it, and it's cool to also see that you can still have a certain reach, right? Which, you know, with just pictures is really hard. Twitch is really hard still with being in the summer hole. Like, I'm excited for fall to see how good it's gonna go on Twitch then again. So I'm basically rescheduling everything and trying to make everything work a little bit better for me, which worked really good this week, because this week, or the last week, I didn't really work out yet because of like the tattoo stuff. So I had more time taking care of all of that kind of stuff. But now I fucked up because I have a Palia access, right? And so yeah, the productive day is not going to be productive because I'm going to be playing Palia all the time. But that is me putting my needs first, because I need to play Palia. that is what's up. Beside of that, I don't think there's anything new. I'm just really excited to play Palia and see how good it is. So yeah, let's maybe go on to the derp of the week, Steffi. Who is it?
Derp of the week this week is Joseph B. Jork 4786 under episode 80
Flurry.
Smasher Pass Part 5. Ah, okay, I didn't know. Flurry, he said, Smasher Pass Fitness Strength Sports Big Boys episode. That would be.
Oh my god, yeah, we're gonna let's do it not only sports big boys, let's do just fitness / strength creators.
Yeah.
Because obviously we want the sexy ladies in there too. A really good idea.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Flurry, for the suggestion. So we have our next Smasher Pass topic already set up. So in case you guys are interested, feel free to leave us a comment of who are your favorite fitness/strength creators on the internet or athletes. If you're not comfortable with sharing those spicy informations in the comments, don't forget we still have the anonymous question thingy, which you can find in our link tree. So you can leave the suggestions also in there if you want to keep it secretive, which people you're simping for, which is obviously totally fine. Also, before we get into the topics that we're going to talk today about, a short reminder to subscribe to our YouTube channel in case you haven't yet. Follow us on Spotify and rate the podcast. It would help us a lot. So thank you so much for your support. If you enjoy the episodes regularly, feel free to do that in order to support us, right?
Yes.
That being said, one of the topics we need to bring up is we need to talk, people. We need to talk. We need to have a conversation. So basically, Stefie and me had a little conversation today before the stream, talking about how everything goes with the podcast, how much work we put into not only us, because we obviously also have our editor in the background, Fudge, that does a lot of work for the podcast as well. And in case you noticed or might have not noticed, over the 82 episodes that we still have not had a sponsor for the podcast. We also don't have 1,000 subscribers on YouTube yet. So basically, we have produced those episodes without making any money in return, right? Which technically is fun because Steffi and my intention behind this podcast was to basically have like a weekly therapy session, talking through topics that we think are interesting and that could be interesting to you guys as well. So there was never a huge intention behind to make lots of money out of the podcast. But to be honest, I think the both of us would have expected that we, at this point, at least would have made some of our money back. So we're obviously paying our editor, and it's also a lot of time, obviously, goes into recording, editing everything that Fudge does. Then also Steffi does like all the text writing for the episode. She does the thumbnails. We do the brainstorming for ideas. We also have lovely Nita that helps us to come up with ideas, you guys in the comments, and so on and so on. So it's a lot of people that invest a lot of time in and money that in the end haven't brought us any return yet. So don't worry about it. We're not going to leave. We're not going to stop with the podcast. But what we have been thinking about, it's not 100% sure yet, is that because obviously we made a lot of episodes, right? It's episode 82 by now. We kind of talked a lot about many topics already. You notice that sometimes we revisit certain topics, and we just noticed that with producing an episode per week, it is a lot about quantity and not as much as it used to be on quality, just simply because we're just running out of things to talk about. So this all considered, Steffi and me were thinking about lowering the quantity of episode in order to up the quality of the podcast. So our thought was that we maybe half the amount of episodes we make every month. So you would not get an episode every Monday, but maybe only every second Monday. Our thoughts are also that, sometimes maybe you miss one or two episodes and then you have to catch up. And then, I know a lot of you people are maybe not even caught up with all the episodes that we brought out because we just produce so much content, which is obviously also fine. So our thought would be, and that is where we need your feedback. If you love the podcast, would it be okay or interesting or even better for you if we might only create a podcast every 2 weeks? Or maybe you have the opinion, maybe instead of that, make 2 shorter episodes, whatever it is. Give us a little bit of feedback on how we should go on, because obviously we don't want to stop the podcast. We just want to create a product that we all are happy with, first of all, presenting to you, and also you guys be fine with consuming it. So let us know if the idea of just having 2 podcast episodes episodes per month, but being able to put more research into it, putting a little bit more effort into the episodes each than what we do now. And yeah, that was the one topic that we really wanted to talk about. Stefie, you want to add anything to that topic?
No, you said it perfectly. That's all we talked about before and perfectly said.
Okay. So thank you guys for having this serious chat. Already, thank you for all the feedback that we're going to get in the comments. We appreciate you guys, and we will see where this whole journey leads us. But don't worry, we're not going to leave you. We just might only see you a little bit less. There's so much episodes you can watch anywhere already.
Yeah. 82 episodes.
82 episodes, exactly. Is there anybody in here that has watched every single episode? I would actually like to know how many people. Do you think there's anybody that really watched every single episode?
I think Sally and Donkey did it. Nita is watching.
Oh yeah, Nita.
And listening a lot as well.
Max.
And Max.
Yeah. I'm not sure if Mark is caught up with all episodes because I think he joined the listening to a podcast a little bit later on. I know that Max and Maxi, so Monster Max, listens, I think, to every episode.
And your brother, because he wants to know about everything that's going on.
So maybe my brother, but I'm not 100% sure if he really listens to all the episodes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think probably
Sally Donkey for sure. For sure.
I think they're like one.
Top-notch supporters.
Oh, and you know who else? Stony Laura.
Stony, yes, Laura. Yeah,
Dark
for sure.
listens to a lot of them, but I know there's certain topics that Dark doesn't want to hear about. So he's gonna skip certain ones. Like I think, for example, the Smash or Pass episodes, I think they're not really like his cup of tea, which is fine. Again, not judging. I'm just like in my head. I think probably Stony Laura, Sally Donkey, Nita, Fudge, obviously almost listen to every one of them because we pay him for it. So yeah, let's start maybe with Baldur's Gate as the first topic that is coming out. Stefie, I think you want to play it, right?
I want to play it. I haven't bought it yet. There is 2 reasons to it. For now, I am not sure, like, because we want to play
a group.
together.
You want it as a group, yeah.
Yeah, with like my offline group, Max, Lucky, Sims, and me. We want to play. That's the plan, at least. And it is basically a commitment, like playing D&D once a week, right? So we try to find, like we yesterday said, we're gonna make a group where we try to find a date every week where we can play together, because obviously everyone's working. We have offline life as well and stuff like that. So, and I need to know which days people want to play or which day in the week, so I make sure I don't stream on that day, because I want to do this in private.
You don't want to stream it?
And then no, because like we're doing it in German as well, right?
Oh,
maybe
okay.
I start recording it and everything, but it's gonna be in Austrian. And I just want to have this, like, not everyone feels comfortable being
of course,
being streamed all the time. So I think I'll do this with my group in private. And then I was thinking, because you can do 2 campaigns at the same time. It's the same story, but you can have like 2 different accounts, or
you can have multiple characters. I think it's characters, right? Because the characters have different story saves or whatever you want to call it. So you can have up to 2, or you can have more than 2. Do you know that?
I have no idea. I didn't look into that at all. I just was thinking that I'm gonna do it in private with my group, and I want to stream it probably alone, or if we find a group where we
it
can
should
say
be a group. Yeah. Also, by
like
the way,
once a week.
Yeah, I just realized, because we didn't explain, maybe for the people that don't know what Baldur's Gate is. Baldur's Gate 3 is a video game that's basically a Dungeons and Dragons co-op game that you can play with your friends. We talked about it in other episodes, and it's now finally released. So that was what we were talking about. I'm probably gonna play it as well. Like, I never played Dungeons and Dragons, but I think I'm gonna make a group with Nosh. Maybe I can get Sazu to play. I'm not 100% sure. I think you can be up to 4 people. I would really like to get Sazu in, but I don't know if you can get him as time committed to it, because if there's one person that I can see myself enjoying this game with, it's probably Sazu, because he's just so into that kind of stuff, right? So yeah, I hope I can play it as well. But first, Palia. Palia is priority number one, and then maybe I see for next week if we can get Baldur's Gate. And I also still have to finish Remnant. Remnant, the Play with Buttons, also so good. There's so it's so funny. It's like how we always say, like it's either there's no game at all to play, or there's
many.
just too many games.
Yeah.
But I'm happy that there's the point now where I have so many games that I wanted to play. But yeah, there's another topic that Steffi and me wanted to talk about today. Steffi brought up, you want to bring up the whole sisterhood topic maybe first, and how you got to wanting to talk about this?
I actually, it's a funny like way how I got up with the topic or came up with the topic, because as I said, guys, in the last episode, I'm super intrigued with Too Hot to Handle at the moment. And Too Hot to Handle in the beginning is a show where people just come to an island to party and have sex with each other and everything. And in the end of the season, they actually learn a lot about themselves and mindfulness and what they have to face their problems and why those problems occur in their relationships as well. So there's a lot of like mindfulness coaches and like life coaches in general joining this show with workshops. And one workshop was the girls talking about sisterhood, talking about accepting themselves, talking about how important they are or should be for themselves, and that we should support each other. And when I was watching that, I was like, okay, hey, we always like we talked about body positivity and all that stuff, right? And we obviously like every now and then we talk about or just throw it in that supporting each other, especially like us women among each other, like we support each other, but we never like made a whole episode out of that. So I was like, could be a good idea, cool idea, and I think it's very important as well because I know us two, we're very supportive when it comes to like female creators in specific as well. We just hype each other up. We just love seeing those things, and we love seeing women supporting each other rather than seeing each other as a threat, because we're not. So yeah, that's about it.
Exactly. I
That's
think
how
a really good topic, first of all, to come up with the whole sisterhood topic. But what I wanted to say, as you already said, we celebrate women and queens, or however we title them, right? Like as you already said, like we're really supportive towards our kin and people that create similar content, or maybe do the exact opposite of the content that we create. Like we support diversity and everything it is, and that is again something that for us maybe is pretty normal, but if you look in the whole industry, and I feel like it got better over the years, but overall there's still so much hate and missgunst, I don't know how to say it, like that you don't
jealousy and let me see.
Yeah, jealousy, and that you cannot be happy for other people's successes without resentment. Yeah, exactly. So that is something that is really really sad. And kind of regarding this topic, I had a really interesting conversation yesterday with a friend of mine, Adeline Frost. We talked about yesterday a little bit, or actually not a little bit, we talked about it for a long time, the same topic that we kind of had with the unrealistic body standards that we have, or like beauty standards, or how we see people, like especially for women. Like I'm not saying it's less worse for men, like obviously there's really unrealistic ideals for men as well, and but in this case we talked about women, how on the one hand society wants you to be skinny, but then there's also the trend with wanting a thick thigh, thick booty, a big booba girl now, right? So if you're too skinny, you're doing something wrong. If you don't have a thick ass or a thick boobas, you're doing something wrong. But then again, if you want to be thick, if you have a few kilos too much, maybe, then you're fat, right? So like the line between being thick and fat is like very very blurry. Then there's the thing with, let's say you're really really skinny, and just through your body type and everything. Maybe you don't really have a big chest or a big booty, you don't want to go to a gym, then you decide to help yourself with maybe some plastic surgery, right? You get your boobs done, you get your ass done, you get a liposuction in your stomach, so you're like extra slim in the waist, and you create this hourglass figure, whatever it is. Then you're being hated by society for being too fake, for being too plastic. Then if you decide to go that way with let's say you go to the gym and you try to recreate your body, you try to build your body in a way that you will like it more, or maybe it is a little bit more towards the beauty standards on a quotation mark, then you start working out, then you get things throwing at your head like you're being too masculine, you're working out too much, you're getting too huge, you're getting too strong, you have too prominent muscles, like you don't look soft or like a female anymore, whatever it is. So in this kind of social construct that we live in right now, it's really hard to do anything right, because no matter what you do, there's always something or somebody that's gonna tell you, oh, it's too much, it's too little, it's too extreme, like you will never fit in there. And it is actually also really funny what we talked about. She talked about a tweet. We sadly couldn't find it, but there was apparently a tweet that blew up on Twitter about talking about, the Victoria's Secret angels from like many years ago, and how they were like the pinnacle of beauty and the ideal body, and like back in the day when Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera were like these sex symbols, right? Like with like the low-rise pants, and they were really, really skinny, obviously, back then, but it was still like, under quotation mark, like an achievable beauty thing that a normal person would reach, right? Like if you look at the bodies that they had back then, of course they were skinny, but they were looking like a human being. They were looking like a woman, right? They were not looking like unrealistic in any like extreme form or way. So it was achievable. If you look at their bodies, what they like, they have been like sex symbols back then. If you look at their bodies now, they look like a standard woman. Like they would not be outstanding, they would be just normies. If you look at people that are being hyped up for their bodies, the biggest example of our generation is probably Kim Kardashian, right? And if you look at that, and again, I don't really want to hate on her, but if you look at her in pictures, she looks obviously a very beautiful woman, right? But she has changed so much about her body. She is like slimmed down so much. She had her BBL. Like if you look at her on videos, how she's moving, like her body doesn't even look real. Like the proportions are so off. It doesn't look like a human being in any natural sense anymore. Like it's almost like a video game character where you slit like the waist being as skinny as possible, and like pulled the boobs and the ass to like the biggest size you can make, kind of like when you're playing Sims, right? And that also made me think about, like, imagine how hard it is to grow up in a time now where you see so much of not only operated people, but also so much fake like editing, right? Where you will always compare yourself to unrealistic, unachievable beauty standards. It is so hard. And then on top of that, to come back to the whole sisterhood theme, right? It is not only the standards that being pushed on you by society in general, or men expecting women to look a certain way, but I think the very or for me personally, like the worst part about this whole thing is when women try to bully each other, or try to like up each other, or say like, oh, I'm better than her, or she's worse than me, or they try to compare or put each other down because of certain looks or standards they set for themselves, right? And that is such a toxic environment to be in, into being competing with each other, while we should really just uplift each other and love each other for the way we are, So that's
I have a few
why
things to throw
come
in
back. Yeah,
here.
of course. Go ahead.
The first thing is, I think it has always been like that, with people expecting more or less about whatever you are or whoever you are, however you look. But with the internet, it's just easier to share your opinion. You know what I mean? Like back in the days, you could not just go on the internet and say, "Oh, I don't like this. She's too thin, or she's too skinny, and or you're too thick, curves, whatever." Like everyone has different types, right? And different um views of beauty standards, and I think the problem just here is people not accepting the other standards.
Oh yeah,
So, and they never did, like even back then they didn't, but they didn't have the option to share it with so many
it's
people,
easy.
right?
Yeah.
So, and the thing is, I I don't like some things either, but I don't have the urge to share it because it's not my life. So who am I to judge about the other person's life and how the person looks? Like this is none of my fucking business at all. If you have an opinion on that, that is totally fine and you can share that as well. I just feel like I don't need to share every single opinion I have with everyone, because as long as the person is happy, that's the most important thing. And the second thing with, as you said, like the unrealistic, like achieving beauty standards we have, especially like with social media, people using Snapchat filters. It all started basically with the Snapchat filters back then,
Mm.
making your skin smoother and everything like that. Adding other filters that make you look like a comic character or whatever it is. Um, there's so many things people started using, but at some point didn't realize that they can't like themselves anymore when they look in the mirror without a filter. And that is the biggest problem. And I think that is something you have to address in school as well, like being aware of like social media and the internet, as well as accepting that this is all virtual. Like
Oh
it
yeah,
is literally just virtual. And as you said, and I said that, like I mentioned it like 2 or 3 times already, when you said you realized how people actually look in real life because you went
exactly.
to the
Yeah,
cinema, right?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like this is how people look. I have to say, I see a lot of these beauty queens in Graz, for example. You see some people look the same as they look on Instagram because they're just, I don't know, are makeup artists themselves
Mm.
and they just look like this every day. But most of the people just don't. Like you make your skin smoother. They always did, photographers always did, like every single magazine
Oh
had
yeah, of course, of
hours
course.
of editing, like model editing for
Retouching.
in
Yeah,
photoshops, retouching and all these things. You just didn't know because it wasn't that obvious. It was obvious when it came to like the waist and stuff like that. They changed that, they changed the sizes and just smudge the pores and stuff like that. So beauty things that they always have been doing, but nowadays it has become so easy to do these things that everyone looks like this, and that's the difference. Like back then we didn't have the tools for that. Now we have face app, we have Snapchat, we have Samsung cameras even have the filters on already.
standard.
Like you
Yeah,
can do that when you take pictures of yourself. So how can people accept themselves and look in the mirror, look at themselves and say, hey, I'm pretty the way I am, because they just constantly see themselves with 5,000 filters. So it's a tough one. And I'm glad that I grew up the way I grew up because
exactly.
I
Yeah.
know both sides. I am very well aware of it, that you can use these things, obviously in our branch as well, or in our like work
Niche.
field as well,
Mm.
because we're doing online stuff and we're editing our stuff as well. But I would never change my body shape. Like I would never change the slightest thing of my body, because why would I? Like I love my body the way it is.
Mm.
And I don't need the change. I don't need to feel like I don't want to change my ass or whatever it is, because that's simply how I look and I'm fine with it. And yeah, it's a tough one really, because you have a lot of high standards and they're just unrealistic. They just
Exactly.
are.
I mean, for me, for example, I also have to say, especially for me as a person, like I'm not as
Mm-hmm.
much like in big public places, or I don't see that many people. Like I
Mm-hmm.
usually meet the same people out of my friend circle, over and over again. I, that's why the example with like going to a cinema, or when I was I was swimming at the lake with you guys, right? And I went again with Miriam after as well. Once you see real bodies, real people in big masses again, that was like for me like a real realization. Like I especially towards like coming out of a time with like COVID, where you're like almost two and a half years, you were very isolated. You had a lot of your social life online. You were used to just seeing everything online. And then you go outside into the real life again and you just see like, okay, wow, those people are all beautiful. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not saying they're less beautiful, but they just don't look like they look on pictures. And then sometimes, you know, you pressure yourself so much in wanting to look a certain way that you don't realize that very little people actually look like this in real life. And it's really achievable for so many people. And to come back to the whole sisterhood topic, and I think we talked about it, how like when you get compliments from your own kin, so like from people that work in the same field as you, from one woman to another, if it doesn't matter if you're in a grocery store and like a granny walks up to you and says like, oh, I love your eyeliner, or like something like that, something like this means so much to me personally, when it comes from like a woman, right? And it comes from heart. And but the coin flip, it also hurts so much more. Like if a guy tells me like, oh, you look fat, I couldn't give a lesser shit about it. But if a woman criticizes me and tells me, oh, I look fat, I look ugly, my hair's disgusting, my eyeliner is ugly, the content I create is shit, you know, that is when it hurts a little bit extra for me. I don't know if that's the same for you. So it goes like in both directions. Like when women support each other, it feels so much more valuable. It doesn't mean that it's not valuable if somebody that is not a female does it, right? But it adds this little extra thing on it, because I feel like getting the approval from people that try to achieve the same things as you gives it just this little extra you know what I mean? I don't know if that's the same
and
for you.
especially because we know how the other side is with the people just being jealous or women just being jealous. And
I mean, we've
like,
been raised like this, right? Like we have been raised in a society where women have to compare each other all the time, have to be better than the other woman, you know, be smarter, be more pretty, work harder, like all of that. I mean, also for men, like it's more or less the same, but it's such a stupid way of growing up, instead of just trying to support each other as good as you can.
it is. I have to say I never really understood that, and the moment where I actually realized that was a few years ago at the street food market, when I was with my female work colleague, and we were standing in the truck, and there was a girl like being super dressed up for the street food market, like a lot of makeup, stuff like that, everything done, and she was just like criticizing her. And I was just in that moment, I was standing there, I was looking at that girl with no judgment at all, because just because she likes to dress up like this doesn't mean I want to do this to myself when I'm going to this event. But that doesn't mean I have to criticize her, because it's
She
not
does it,
my
yeah.
life, right? So, and I realized in that moment, okay, I am so far away from judging women by their looks. It's been, I think the last time I did that was when I was 17, 16, 15, where you just constantly compared each other, right? And where you were like, okay, I have to look like her because she's getting all the guys, or whatever it was back then. So I realized in that moment that I don't have this at all in me anymore. And that was very beautiful, because I was asking her then as well, why do you think like that now? Or like, is she, do you feel like,
she a threat to you, or like what?
or do you feel like uh intimidated by this, or whatever, like whatever it is? And that just made me realize that I am so far gone from this like behavior or thinking, and I don't have that. Like, it's just whatever you want to do, just do it. And especially with women, I just like seeing women embracing themselves and doing what the fuck they want, like, and just being authentic and enjoying that and being their real selves. And I really like that. And I never really understood why you have to like talk down on someone or on another female person to feel better, because you're simply not the person and you don't have to compare yourself with her. There's no point. You're two different individuals.
Mm.
And in video games as well, we talked about that as well. Like
Oh yeah.
the amount of times I got shit talked on in Overwatch by a woman was like, I don't understand it. Like, I'm not doing anything. Why do you feel like intimidated by whatever it is? Like, what is the problem? Just we're so like little people in this already. Like, there's more women playing video games now than they ever have, and yet when you meet another girl in a game, it feels like a competition to
Oh yeah.
them. Like,
Like,
who's
oh,
winning
who
the guys?
who is gonna be
Like,
the better female in the lobby? Who is
yeah,
gonna
like I don't
be?
care.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
take
Who
them
gives a
all.
fuck? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck? But you know what?
So.
What I feel like what helped me as well, like
Mm-hmm.
again, like I was similar as you, maybe even longer than till I was 16, 17. Like I remember in the beginning, especially when I started streaming, like the first 1 or 2 years, I was a lot. I remember I was so mad when, for example, Casey Tron got her sub button before me. Like I
Mm.
remember, I think there's a tweet that I wrote. I can't believe that this. I think I even called her booby streamer or something, because back then she was like one of the
Yeah.
first person that used her looks to attract, also like additional to her like comedic value. Like back then I didn't
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
understand. For me it was just like, oh yeah, this person just uses her body to attract people while playing stupid under quotation mark. Like
I
I
mean, to be fair, let me
Yeah,
just throw in,
yeah, of course.
we've all been at this point, especially when the meta came up. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah, of course.
it was for gamers in the beginning, and then all of a sudden there's a new niche coming up, and you're like, okay, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
of course you kind of start judging them, but then at some point I just realized, hey, she's just smart. Like,
Yeah,
if that
exactly.
works,
She's
just
just
abuse the
abusing the
system.
system.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
So that was like the last time where I can remember that
Mm-hmm.
I was in a toxic mindset like this towards somebody that actually works in the same field as me.
Yeah,
Well, I
yeah,
should have been like, holy shit, this is a fucking comedy queen, like,
yeah.
and for everybody, like, doesn't matter who it is, if it was Kitty Place that kind of started out also using her looks to her advantage in a business sense, then let it be an amaranth, the pink sparkles,
Yeah, yeah.
whoever you want. Like everybody that uses this is fucking a smart business woman, and they know exactly what they're doing.
Mm.
For me also, especially like those things where say, like, let's say you're a woman in a video game, you get thrown into a lobby, and I noticed that, like, I will never forget, there was this one game I played with Nosh in Counter-Strike, and
Mm-hmm.
it was Nosh and me playing. It was in Cash, and there was a second girl in the game, and she was like in a clutch or something like that, and she didn't hear where somebody was coming from. And I told her like, "Oh,
Mm-hmm.
he's short" or something like that. And then she just went like, "Shush." Like she just shushed me every time
Mm-hmm.
I said something. She basically shushed me, and I was like, "Did she just shush me?" Like there's a clip of me like being like this, and
Yeah.
all of that kind of stuff. And back in the day, that would really hurt me, because exactly as
Yeah,
you say
yeah.
it, like we're such a, or especially back then, it was such a little amount of women in the games that once you meet each other, instead of embracing it and being like, oh my god, there's
Mm.
one of us here, right? You
Yeah.
start competing to each other in front of three random dudes that you couldn't care less about.
Mm.
And then some people get really toxic towards you because they want to prove whatever it is, like that they're the
Yeah,
better
yeah.
female in the lobby, or whatever it is. And it would hurt me a lot back then, but now
Mm-hmm.
I realize that those people that are still acting on this are just mentally not as far as other people. You know what I mean? Like not
Mm.
like on a mental health level, or like on a self value. Like
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
so
Self-esteem.
happy. Exactly. I'm so happy and content with who I am, and I know my value, I know my boundaries, that I don't have to reflect my insecurities onto other people or need to compare myself to other people. Like I can genuinely be happy now for people. Like if you see that Amaranth got like I don't know how many million contract for being on Kick, and she can still be on Twitch, she can still be in all the spicy websites, like all of those kind of things, instead of being jealous that other people get opportunities or do good or have more view numbers or whatever it is. Like I would always be jealous back in the day, and now when I see that, I have seriously not a single jealous bone in my body anymore. All that I have is being happy for people. And I had one more thing that I want to throw in, which I think is really beautiful. A conversation that I had, for example, with Miriam, right? So Miriam and me, we like a lot of the same things. Let's say, for example, similar as like us. When I showed you the one Smilo Docs legging that you love as well, like the gray one. Like I'm like, oh my god, I love this one. You need to get this. And like Miriam and me are like the same. Like we send each other like products that we love to use, and the same as you and me do, right? Like, oh, I like this. You need to try this. You need to buy it, right? And do you remember when you're younger and you see somebody else use the same product or maybe have the same haircut as you, have the same
exactly
t-shirt,
where you're going,
or whatever it is, like they just take something that you have or use or whatever, and then they use it too, and then your first reaction would be like, but I had that before her, she's copying me, oh my god, she's trying so much to be like me or whatever, like those toxic mindsets. And now I can honestly say I'm only surrounded by women that are happy to share something that they like with other women. So just for the sake of them having the same beautiful experience with whatever it is. And for me, when I see, for example, I don't know, Miriam buys the same pair of pants as me, and I buy like a thing for my kitchen storage or something because I saw it in her home. My first reaction is not anymore, oh, that stupid bitch bought exactly the same shit that I have. I'm like, oh my god, she saw something that I like, and now she has it too. That makes me like, oh my god, it makes me excited to see it. I'm like, oh my god, that means a lot to me that my opinion or my advice made her helped. Yeah, exactly. Like I want to make other people's life easier or better or nicer or whatever it is. And I'm the same, that when I see something that other people have and it makes them happy, and I want to make that a part of my life as well, it is a compliment towards them and not me trying to copy them, like that type of mindset of sisterhood and like embracing each other, lifting each other up, being happy for each other, supporting people, is nowadays so much more important for me than anything else.
Yeah. Also, it's not a competition just because they buy something you like. It just shows, as you said, how much they admire your opinion and like value your opinion. Plus, before that, what I wanted to throw in with the whole Casey Tron or all the Eagle stuff, etc., with Twitch, I think everyone has to be like in their life has to be at some point where we realize these things, right? With us, it was, for example, the whole Twitch meta and where we are with our jobs and everything, and also other things that happened in our lives. So at some point, I think we all have to go through some kind of lessons to realize these things, like that this is not a threat, or obviously Twitch is a competition because you all want to earn your money, but it's not about the person itself, it's about yourself. Like the competition is out in every single work field. Like it's not only because of women, it's because of the fucking job you're doing. So and that's the difference. And I think we've all been there, and most, like, some people learn faster, some people take longer to learn these things, but you don't have to see anyone as a threat because it simply isn't. And usually, and with
and if
the
they
copying
are, they
thing,
shouldn't be in your field anywhere, like in your circle as you want. Like if there's people that want to harm you or are jealous towards things you achieve, or can't be happy for things that you achieve, or can't be supportive without wanting something in return for that support, that's when they're people that are not worth being in your inner circle, in my opinion, anyway. So
And as a child, I remember. Sorry, are
No,
you?
go ahead. No, it's fine.
You finished your sentence,
Yeah,
or did I
I'm
cut
done.
you?
I'm done.
Oh,
I'm done. Oh, good.
okay. The last thing I wanted to say is because it was like my sister back then always wanted me to like walk in partner look with her. So my mom bought the same dress, like the same outfit for the both of us, and I hated that because I felt like I said like she's copying me, and I don't like that as a child, right?
Yeah.
Just like my little sister is so annoying. She always wants me to wear the same stuff. Like, but in fact, in reality, she was just admiring me. I was her
Exactly.
fucking role model. You know what I mean? And realizing that now, obviously, as a child, like you don't see that, especially when you're the only child and then there's another sibling coming up. You're not the main character anymore for your parents,
Yeah.
right? So these are all things like you have to learn, and I think those are great things. You either learn that through siblings or through friendships
Mm,
or whatever it is, but that's usually the main two types of like how you learn these things.
yeah.
And now seeing back, like looking back at that, it's just like Steffi, she was just loving you so much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like it makes me
Aww.
I'm like
Aw, so cute.
so I guess you just have to learn these things and to see that it's never a bad reason behind it, but a very good one, you know? So yeah.
Aw. But it's cute that you say that. I had the same experience. Like I don't have like a sister or something like that, but I have
Mm-hmm.
two females in my life that I basically consider a sister. Like I have obviously Verena. So if you don't know, Verena
Yeah.
is my neighbor. I know her since she's 3 years old or something like that, and I was 6, and we were basically
That's so
doing
cool though.
everything together. Like Verena was like
Mm-hmm.
every Saturday she was be calling at 7 a.m. Hi, it's Julia awake yet? Can I come over? Like ringing at the door, like, hey, I don't want to wake you up, but can I come over? And we were having sleepovers all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the same back then, you know. Verena always wanted to have, like, when I colored my hair, she wanted to color her hair. She wanted to wear the
Mm-hmm.
same things, the same colors, being in partner look. And remember, like, our moms always, like, when my mom would buy something for me, she would buy it for Verena as well. And there was a time I was
Mm-hmm.
like annoyed. I was like, oh, why would she do this? And now,
Yeah.
like, that we're both grown up, like, it's so fucking cute to see that. And now it's also like
It
the other
is.
way around, right? Like her um dressing like me, and then I see things that she wears that I maybe don't have, and then I implement
Yeah.
this, and then like we go somewhere and we both have like the dark pants, the dark shirt, the long hair, and then it's always like, oh, you
Yeah.
two are sisters, right? And we're like, yeah, but
Yeah.
kind of. And it was
Yeah.
the same with my older cousin. Like she's 12 years older than me, and I remember there was like one day where she like would put makeup on me and like dress me up in her clothes and
Mm-hmm.
stuff, and I was like, oh my god, I'm just as cool as her now. And
Yeah.
so I remember like both sides, you know, wanting to be like some role model, like some female role model
Mm-hmm.
that you had in your life, um and then flipping the coin and having somebody and wants to be like you as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think that sisterhood is something super important, and I think the both of us can be really proud about the women that we have around us in our
Yeah.
life, right? I think it just reflects on how far we have come
Yeah.
individually, that we attract such awesome persons in our life as well, right? So thank
Yeah.
you for all the ladies out there. Um,
We really appreciate you
we
guys.
appreciate you. We're happy to
Queens.
have you in our life. Um, so yeah, I think that was a nice ending to the episode again, right?
Yeah.
Again, don't
Support each
forget,
other, girls.
exactly, support each other, uplift each other. There's no need for competition, okay? There's enough to achieve for every single one of us. Let's not lay rocks into each other's paths. There's already more than enough out there. Instead,
Mm-hmm.
let's kick some rocks out of each other's ways, okay? And let's support each other. Thank you so much for
That's
listening
sweet.
to this episode, guys. We're gonna hear each other next week again, and maybe share this podcast with the woman or queen or friend that you appreciate as much as we
Mm-hmm.
appreciate you. Um, Spread the message, create some sisterhood in one way or another for yourself, and attract those positive people in your life. That's what's important. Have a beautiful day, guys. We'll see you again next week.
Love
Thank
you.
you so much.
Bye.
Bye.